Hello and welcome to this month's Longevity with Light webinar. I'm your host, Leslie Klein, and I'm so excited to be uh, talking to you about this wearable light technology, which I've been on for 8 months so far. So I have noticed all kinds of changes in my appearance and in how I feel and in my energy. These patches are really something else. So this month, we are exploring the powerful benefits of the IceWave patch, which is used for pain relief. And our special guest tonight is Dr. Stanley Gravely. He's a PhD and is a trained minister with advanced degrees in theology and counseling and certifications in human behavior and natural healing. He's dedicated to guiding individuals on their life journeys. But before we get to Dr. Stan, I want to introduce you to my co-host. First, we have longevity consultant Tamisa Leiden and my dear friend, LifeWave Executive Director Beth Steele. So, ladies, so good to see you here. And as we always do, we have a disclaimer that we'd like to read. And Tamisa, would you do the honors?
I'd love to. So LifeWave products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The information we're going to provide is for educational purposes only and should not be considered medical advice. Individual results may vary, so consult with your healthcare professional before using LifeWave products, especially if you have a medical condition or are taking medications.
Thank you. Now, Dr. Stanley Gravely is presently a motivational speaker, life coach, and business entrepreneur. He has over 40 years of experience in the wellness industry and has helped thousands of people to be healthy, wealthy, happy, and healed. So I'd like to bring to the stage our dear Dr. Stan.
Hello,
Dr.
guys.
Stan.
Hey,
Hello. Hi,
great to
Dr.
be
Stan.
here.
So good to have you.
Good to see you. Such a
Good to
godly
be here.
man. I love your posts. I love watching your videos. You're such a godly man. So thanks for joining us.
Yes. And
So
a
glad to be
wealth
here.
of knowledge. Powerful.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Stan, what we'd like to do is ask you the question. Tell us the story of how you got into patching, like how long before you got results and what kind of results did you have?
Well, it was interesting, being in health and wellness, and I've owned and operated clinics, alternative healthcare, holistic clinics, connecting the spirit, mind, and the body. So we had been using mostly, nutraceuticals and herbs and different things along with lifestyle to help people. And we had a few people that tried to get us to look at the LifeWave technology. We were involved with another project with dear friends of ours, Dr. Don Verhulst and his lovely wife, Susan. And so I really wasn't interested in anything. And to be honest, it sounded kind of hokey. Me and my wife were like, yeah, a Band-Aid, a sticker, come on. So anyway, our friend Alicia, we had been working in another project together many years ago, called up Jody. We had remained friends over the years, and she started using the LifeWave technology and was getting some amazing results. We had been in a journey with her. She had had some serious health challenges, and this technology, the only thing she added, started changing her life. The doctors told her they didn't understand why everything was reversing and she was getting better. So that got our attention. Jody had some carpal tunnel that was really bothering her. In fact, we were at the point where she may had to have some of that surgery to get relief, and we didn't want to go down that route. And so Jody asked her, you think it would help me? And she says, well, you could give it a try. And at the time, we were just into our 60s, and we started feeling some pings and dings, which we know with our stem cells are become to get very dormant starting in our 30s. And then by the time we're 60, they're pretty much at 0 to 30% maximum capacity. So we were experiencing some things that our lifestyle and things that we had been doing, for 40 years, they were working. but we were still having what I call the pings and the dings, so to speak. My blood pressure had been elevated, but we noticed within the first 3 weeks, my blood pressure dropped 20 points, and then it dropped 30 points after 4 weeks. And then we were sleeping better. We started having more energy. Jody's carpal tunnel was probably 80% better after 4 weeks, and now it's pretty much gone. So we're really thankful for that. I didn't snore as much. I started losing not weight, but inches because we were getting so much inflammation out of our bodies. And Jody had a heart rhythm that would get out of rhythm every once in a while. That went away. So we were starting to see the results. I call it fairly fast because, you can't guarantee results in 4 to 6 weeks on this technology. Some people take 6 months or a year or more sometimes to see the results, but we got fairly good results fairly fast. That got our attention. And I told them in the very beginning, if it brought my blood pressure down, I'm sold. So I was sold at that point, and we went on and started participating in the LifeWave opportunity.
That's awesome. Now, we are focusing on the IceWave patch today, but
Right.
before we get into that, would you say a word about the X39? I know you talked a little bit about it, but that's our foundational patch at LifeWave. Why do you feel that it's so important to use?
Yeah, well, that is our flagship product, the foundational product. That is the patch that stimulates the GHK copper peptide, which basically stimulates your pluripotent cells in your body, the only cells in the body that can go anywhere in the body and replicate, duplicate, rejuvenate, and restore worn out cells, thus worn out parts and systems of the body. As I mentioned earlier, as we begin to age, those pluripotent cells begin to diminish, which is why when people in sports get in their 30s, they're considered old because they get injured easier. It's harder for the recovery. So we just begin to age. And what this X39 does is it basically resets our chromosomes, our DNA, to more youthful levels. In fact, one of our clinical studies demonstrates 6 months of wearing the X39 can indeed reverse your biological age by 8 years, which is pretty amazing. So when you're using this technology, you're growing younger rather than growing older. So that's why we tell everybody this is our foundational patch. Everything else is what I call a booster patch, and it will help boost the effects of the X39. But with IceWave, what I love about this technology in conjunction with using the X39, because even our inventor, David Smith, will tell people if they do have pain to put that X39 on and then use the IceWave to get, some pain relief. Pain relief has been said to be one of the greatest gifts that you can give anybody, because we all know that when we experience pain, it's very uncomfortable. And it can make us cranky. It can cause us not to sleep well. And then we get run down and we get irritable, and this is not good. So when we can alleviate pain, we can also help the person heal, because now they're not, being just racked with all the pain and dealing with it. Now they can start to feel better. And it's pretty good known fact that when people start feeling better, then they're more motivated to do things that can help them in the recovery process. So pain basically is wherever it's at in the body is a damaged tissue, cells, and organs of the body that results in tissue conductivity and blocks signaling energy. And when that happens, then the brain is knowing that has been cut off, and it begins to send the troops there. Inflammation starts happening, all kinds of different things, and it's signaling the brain that there is no conductivity, and therefore, it starts to act, and we start to feel pain. So to alleviate the pain, especially for people a couple of tips, and then we'll dive into the technology itself. But one of the things that when people are using X39, using the IceWave, drinking, water is one of the best things I've ever heard. I remember a doctor many years ago when I was in my 20s, he said something. I said something about cough medicine or something. He said, well, the best cough medicine in the world is just to drink a lot of water to flush out the mucus and things that are causing it. So drink water is very, very important. Making sure that your body has plenty of minerals, calcium, magnesium, potassium, because a lot of people, the reason why they have pain is because they're dehydrated and they don't have enough of the good minerals, the electrolytes and things in their body. So it's very important to, hydrate and make sure you're getting the proper minerals into your body. And then everything works better, the X39, the IceWave, and everything else. So what the patch is designed to do with IceWave is to sedate the nervous system. It helps to create a biological electrical effect on the body to give fast acting relief for acute pain, body pain, headaches, muscle pains, tissues, everything. And so what happens with the IceWave, it comes to the rescue of alleviating that pain. So that instead of having to take ibuprofen or some other type of pain medication, this alleviates the need for that. And it's very interesting. Most people, when they use the IceWave system, the majority of the people will experience pain relief within minutes of using the technology. So it's really grabs people's attention about our technology and how that it really works. So we're needing to break the pain cycle. And so when we use the patch, tis, plural, this and the energy enhancer are the only two patching systems that use two patches. Like the energy enhancer, you have a white one and you have a tan one, brown one, whatever color you want to call it. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can use the IceWave patch to basically give the relief and get that bioelectrical communication going and cut the pain cycle out of the area that you're having pain. Now, one way that you do that is the brown patch, the tan patch, can be placed directly on top of where the person's pain is, where it's the worst, is what I always tell my people when I say, where does it hurt the most? And if they can't point to it, if it's on the back, I will move it around until they say, that's it. So I put the brown patch directly on top of that area. Then there's a white patch. And what we recommend people to do with this patch is instead of taking all the sticker off, you just take half of it and you begin to place it just a little ways from the brown patch, or it can be placed in different areas all around. But you want to start out maybe at 12 o'clock, going up an inch or 2, 3 inches, and place the patch on the body. It can even be used on clothes. When we're doing festivals, a lot of times I'm just patching people's right on top of their clothes, and it will work that way, which I think is pretty amazing too, as far as that goes. But it's interesting. A lot of times, if they are not feeling any relief within about 30 seconds or less, then you just start to move the patch clockwise. You can try 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, so forth and so on. And sometimes you have to move it out or down. And so you just play around with the white patch until you get the communication, the conductivity, back intact so that the pain receptors stop sending pain to the brain and to our body, which breaks the pain cycle, which is so exciting. It does have some therapeutic effect. It does help with some of the inflammation and things like that, but primarily we use it to relieve the pain, get the inflammation out, and has been proven to increase mitochondrial function, ATP production in the body, to help calm the system down. So that's why IceWave is such an important patch for people who are in acute pain or a lot of pain. We've seen people with headaches, with everything imaginable, aches in the body, and see relief. I've seen veterans who were in agony come to me, and we eliminate their pain, and it just changes their whole life. Now, another way to use the IceWave, which is for whole body pain, or even myself, I was in a car accident 17 years ago, and we moved a couple of years ago, and I overdid it, stirred all that injury up, and two patches were not doing the job, so we started increasing to double patching, and then we double patched and ended up patching the bottom of my feet also in conjunction with that. Again, just like with the energy enhancer, the white patch goes on the right foot underneath the arch, tan patch under the left foot under the arch, and then you can also put the patches again. Left is on the right, tan on the right. Kind of find where your rib cage and the bones here come together, and you just place it right here. So if you put them here and on the bottom of your feet, a lot of times it will help with the whole body pain, or a lot of times, like in my case, putting it directly in the area didn't necessarily help, but doing it that way helped to enhance my bioelectrical chemistry throughout my whole body, which shut the pain down. After weeks, we kind of had to experiment around a little bit, and I was listening to a video with David Smith, and I forgot to do the whole body patching. So that's really great. So tan on the left side, white on the right side. Correct. If I said it backwards, then I apologize. But tan is always on the left and the white is always on the right. But when you're patching for pain, you put the tan patch on top of the pain and just move it around the clock until you find some relief. And I've had sometimes where I put it, here, and actually went down 6-8 inches down another way before I found a way to get that connectivity circulating and breaking the pain cycle in the body. So it just basically is telling the body, getting everything restored, communicating, getting the brain settled down so that all this pain starts to subside in the body without having to use drugs or over-the-counter medications. It's just that simple, ladies.
That's great. Now, what about using more than one set of patches? I had a friend that was having a horrible sciatica problem and pain on her back and her side, and I did what you said. You put the tan patch where the pain is, and then did the clock method. So that worked, but it only brought her from like a 7 to a 2, and I thought, well, she was also having pain across her back, so I did another set of patches there. Is it okay? Like, how many sets of patches of these IceWave patches are
Well,
okay to use?
I say keep as many as you need. There's no contradiction. As we know, the patches are non-transdermal. There's no pharmaceuticals or nutraceuticals, herbs, or anything going into the body. All we're doing is using the light of our own body. And so many times, that's why with myself, I think when I finally got my pain under control, I think I had on about 6 to 8 patches, because I had ones up 4 on my back, and then 2 under my feet and 2 here on my chest. And then that helped the most.
I see. I'm going to bring our ladies up, Tamisa and Beth, because they also have questions for you about the IceWave.
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
I do have a question. I have lots of questions. Go ahead, Beth.
All right, I'll start with a really simple one. Most of the patches are 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Is that
Right.
the same with IceWave, or do you just leave it on until your pain comes back and then a new set?
I have, with myself and others, gone 24 hours with them on.
Okay.
But you still need a rest. And so I wouldn't do that every day, or you're going to diminish the ability, your body gets used to it, just like anything. So therefore, if you're in acute pain and you're getting relief and you're getting ready to go to bed and everything is stopped hurting, just leave them on for the rest of the night and then get up the next morning, take them all off, and see how you do the rest of the day. And then if the pain comes back, go ahead and start the 12 on, 12 off again.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Jamisa?
So the challenging part of IceWave is there a secret to finding that exact point, or is it just trial and error? As you were saying, you might have to lower it, raise it. What is the best strategy to start out with, the clock method or the polarity method?
Well, they're all the above. It's everybody's different. We keep it simple. Some people, just need to put the pain patch on top of the pain, the tan patch, and then do the clockwork with it and play around with it. And most of the time that will do it. I basically, a lot of times when I'm patching people, I use my intuition. And a lot of times when I guess it's just, energy, and I'm just looking at the person, I'm looking at the pain, and just intuitively, I just kind of look at what's going on, and I'll just place the patch where I kind of intuitively think it will work. And that actually works for me 95% of the time. So I call that intuitive patching. I do that every day. I wake up, and some days, like X39, I think, behind the neck is probably one of the best places to put X39. I hear David Smith talk. Every time you hear David Smith, he's always talking about putting the X39 behind the neck. And I think there's a reason for that. And of course, our clinical studies were done that way. Yes, you could put the patch other places on the body, and yes, it will work. But I call, when I get up every day, sometimes I will put my patches, like I have a couple on right here at my heart, because the heart has the largest emanating energy of the whole body. And so sometimes I just say, I'm going to patch my chest today. And sometimes I'll patch over my liver, or I'll just patch all underneath, the navel or whatever. David always tells us, as long as you get it on the body, it works somewhere. Yeah. And so a lot of times people complicate everything. But I know, excuse me, practitioners who know about medium, excuse me, I get a little choked up here, who know about the energy flow of the body. Yes, they're trained in that. Most people aren't, and you don't need to be. Mm-hmm. And people get complicated with this. And I always tell people, keep it simple. Put it on the body. Now, I've heard David say, of course, if you have a pain or a discomfort in the knee, you could put Eon and glutathione down there at the knee, put the IceWave at the knee, and put the X39 behind your neck. So I call it intuitive patching, and I think that works very well for me. But just do the old-fashioned, put it on, play around with it, put it in different spots. That's going to, 95% of the time or more, you're going to find the sweet spot.
I like the term intuitive instead of trial and error. That just feels better. I have one follow-up to that. There is a train of thought I've heard from other people, and I don't know if you have any experience with this, but there are some people that just feel like the X39 patch can be stacked to eliminate pain, and you don't have that intuitive challenge. What do you know about that, or is that something you've tried, and has it been
stacking in that you're putting one patch on top of another? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yeah, I have heard people doing that. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. I really haven't heard David address that firsthand, but I've heard that, he doesn't necessarily recommend that, but that people do it and have success with it. So I always just tell people, sometimes if that works, do it. It's kind of, I'm not going to tell anybody not to do anything if it's working for them. It's like diet. I've been in health and nutrition and wellness for a long time. And I used to think, one diet is best for everybody, but it's not. Everybody's different. Everybody has different biochemical things going on in their body. Grew up in different parts of the country. Well, food and things like that are very part of where you live. That's why the Eskimos eat a lot of fish, because that's the main thing they have available to them. So I always just tell people, go by the instructions, start there. And if it's not working, then you kind of branch out and experiment a little bit if you need to.
Makes total sense.
Beth, did you have another question?
Well, I was gonna suggest too, like, where he says just intuitively or in different places here and there. And I think I heard Dr. Stacy say once too, using it preemptively. So if I'm going to be on a long car ride or a long flight, sometimes I'll just put a set on my lower back or, somewhere else that if you have kind of a pain point for certain activities, just put it on ahead of time. So
yeah, you can do that. It's nothing. If you're kind of inclined towards something, and especially most people have certain areas of their body when they overdo it, that's where the pain goes. That's just normal for everybody. So if you're entering into some type of physical activity or inactivity, like riding on a plane, and those places that are going to start giving you trouble, then let's patch them, and do a little preemptive patching, so to speak. That would be totally makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to add a little testimonial here, because in May I broke my wrist, and I didn't realize it was broken. I came home from playing pickleball, and I just thought I'm gonna just beat it to the punch and put an E on for any inflammation in case I sprained it or strained it, and I would control the inflammation. So I put an E on and an X39, and then I did do the right-left IceWave patch. And literally for 4 hours, I didn't have swelling. I didn't have any pain, but I noticed, I heard my wrist crackle at about noon that morning or that day. And I thought, I've got to go to the emergency room and have it checked out, which I did. It was x-rayed and broken. But until the doctor had me remove the patches, I had no pain, no swelling in this wrist. As soon as they had me remove them and they took me to x-ray, or brought the x-ray machine in, actually, my wrist literally blew up, swelling and pain was excruciating. So I had my own little testimonial of stopping all of that prior to feeling the actual pain and agony of a broken wrist. But that's my own little testimonial of IceWave and X39 and Neon together. And it was great.
Those are great combos.
Yes, and you healed in like half the time that the doctor.
Yes, I did. I healed in half the time. The orthopedic doctor was like, your bone has healed in 3 weeks, and that is phenomenal, especially at my age of 72. So I'm pretty much blaming and attributing rather the patches for that miraculous rapid healing.
Yeah, and I've heard David too say I call all the patches booster patches now. Ron Leffert, I used to call them support patches. If you listen to Tuesday night and talking with him, I just love the booster thing. But one of the 2 patches, in addition to X39 for pain, that David recommends is the Eon and the glutathione.
Oh,
where'd you go?
We lost audio.
Huh?
There you are.
We lost your audio.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry about that. You froze a little bit.
Okay. But one of the things we recommend for pain too is, in addition to X39 and IceWave, Eon and glutathione can definitely help with pain. I had a Canadian bodybuilder, Sharon Bruneau, who was very famous in the late 80s and 90s, was in all the muscle and fitness magazines. She was a model. She did all kinds of stunts, different things. And of course, she was 60 years old at the time. And she was literally crawling up and down the steps to her apartment. and I sent her a sample, a week sample, and we put those patches, for the most part on her. And I mean, within just a day or two, she was walking up and down the steps.
Wow. Wow.
Cool.
Phenomenal. Amazing, amazing
Amazing.
stuff
It
here.
is amazing. Yeah.
It really is.
But
Well, thank
IceWave is a good way to get people some immediate relief. And that's what people need to heal, is they need relief, because even disease means you're what? Not at ease.
Right.
So disease means you're not at ease. And when you're not at ease, your whole system is upset, and it's very hard to heal and get to normal when you're hurting and in pain.
Yeah.
Mhm. Amen.
Right. Well, we've come to our time of 30 minutes, just a little bit longer than that. But thank you, Dr. Graverly, Dr. Stan, so much for your knowledge today and sharing and spending your time with us today. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Oh, we're glad to do it. It's my honor.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Good to see you.
Good to
Thank
see you.
And we need to just quickly talk about next month. Longevity with Light will be, oh gosh, now I forget. Do you ladies remember? I didn't look it up.
Is it the carnosine?
Could be. Well, anyway, we will be talking about another patch next month, and I apologize.
It's the mystery. It's the mystery approach.
It's the mystery one. So
I'm looking it up right now. So carry on.
Okay. Well, I do want to say
Silent Night. Silent Night is September.
Okay, so Silent Night, which is for sleeping, that will be the patch that we talk about next month, and the tiny URL is on the screen, /longevity September, SE. So the L and the S are capitalized, remember that, in 2025. And so if you want to get your hands on these patches, please contact the person who invited you to see this webinar. And I want to thank everyone so much for watching, and we will see you next month. Take care, everybody.
Thanks. Bye-bye, everybody.